The Libertarian Party should work with the Democratic Party to help reduce on the number of soldiers the U.S. military has. This strategy is to reduce down the number of government workers as far as the Libertarian Party is concerned, and the number of Republican voters as far as the Democratic Party is concerned. This uses a strategy of the enemy of my enemy is my friend. I do not think we always have to view the Republican Party as the enemy of my enemy is my friend issue. We can join forces with the Democratic Party in this regards. How I would suggest this, how to reduce down soldiers, is through innovation. If we can automate more jobs in the military, we can reduce the number of soldiers we have in the military. Contrary to what the public believes, not all soldiers in the military are combat soldiers. In fact, they're actually a very small percentage of the military force, especially like in the U.S. Air Force, U.S. Navy. They just are. There's a whole infrastructure that the military has that is needed to support basically its combat troops. In the Air Force, we have cargo pilots. I mean, when I was in the Air Force, I worked in air cargo. Air cargo in the Air Force is kind of like the military's version of Federal Express. We will get there overnight, hell or high water. In fact, the military is probably the best overnight delivery service there is in the world. As an example, when I was in the military, we had, I was stationed at Charleston Air Force Base. Across the kind of the flight line was a tactical Air Force base. I forget what it was, probably some command. But they had fighter aircraft. And every so often you get a 999 shipment. And a 999 shipment is a critical, time-critical shipment. Usually it was a heart or its eyes that someone extracted from a dead body, and basically the clock ticks down to a countdown time. You have to get this into a living body within a certain period of time or the parts are useless. What the military did and does is they will have a fighter jet. I'll give you an illustration of what happened over in Charleston. When we have one of these shipments, a fighter jet would come over across the flight line to our side, and we'd have, it kind of looks like an igloo cooler, and that's where the body part would be located. The fighter pilot would fly a two-seat fighter aircraft, but there'd only be one person in there. There'd be only the pilot, not the navigator. They'd come on over, we'd go on up, and we put this cooler, this igloo cooler, into the back seat where the navigator would normally sit. Strap it on in, and then this fighter aircraft would take off. I mean, they can go supersonic, and this is, by the way, one of the few times that they can go supersonic over to the continental United States when they're doing a medical emergency like this, a medical rush job, and then boom, they take off, and then they get there in time. They really don't obey any other rules. They're military aircraft. They will get there, and that aircraft will go super fast. I mean, these jets come over with nothing on them, no missiles. I think they even unload the bullets out of their machine guns. I mean, this puppy is built for speed at that time. Anyways, that's an illustration of how the military is not always just about combat. If we got automation in, we could start saving soldiers' lives by doing this. And that's the argument I would have the Libertarian Party and the Democratic Party make. On an aircraft carrier, the fighter pilots are a tiny fraction of who is stationed on that fighter aircraft. For example, every aircraft carrier has a laundromat, and those have lots of people working in them. If we could automate the laundromat, we could then eliminate all those soldiers, all those sailors from having to be on the aircraft carrier. So that if an aircraft carrier didn't then get hit, their lives would not be at risk. And there's lots of other positions on an aircraft carrier. There's the kitchen, there's maid service, janitorial service, I'm sure they call it, custodial service. If we went in and saying we need to automate as many of these jobs as possible, well, by automating those jobs, we then eliminate the need for a soldier to fill those jobs, and thus eliminate the risk that if this aircraft carrier was attacked or this destroyer was attacked, that those soldiers' lives would be put at risk. For the Democratic Party, the argument I would make with them is soldiers overwhelmingly vote for the Republican Party. By reducing the number of soldiers, you reduce the number of people that are voting for your opposition. I'll make another video on how the Republicans can reduce down government workers who typically vote Democratic. I'll make another video for that one. And that'll probably be really soon after this one. And if it does, I'll put a link up above if I've released it by the time you see this video. We are in a robotic revolution right now. And this change would take advantage of that. The legislation can be really worded so it's just that we're going to take advantage to reduce down the number of soldiers at risk in potentially combat situations, also reduce down the number of soldiers in the military to save on the military budget. We're already doing this. Right now, I believe it's already passed. The military was under a directive, I believe by 2015, they had to start incorporating autonomous self-driving vehicles. And why they did that was, during the Iraq War, Jessica Lange, I think her name was, she was part of a convoy. The convoy got ambushed, she was taken prisoner, we were able to rescue her. But then people in Congress says, holy shit, this could have blown up in our face. POWs, it would just be bad PR. I think that's really why they did it. And so they had that, I think 85% of all vehicles in military by, I'm not sure the date they had, but they were to be self-driving vehicles. And when you know about the transportation needs of the military, 85% of traffic in the military is essentially convoys. These are, you have wherever the depot is, and they're going to supply the front line or forward positions, etc. So this was essentially saying we want to automate these convoys. And so if you have an automated convoy, you don't have to worry about soldiers dying. You can actually have them have self-destruct codes on, where if they are captured, you just blow up the whole convoy so that the terrorists or guerrillas or whoever you don't want to have possession of these supplies, can't use those supplies. You can't do that when there are humans driving those vehicles, but you could do that with autonomous vehicles. Also, they could come under attack and those soldiers' life is going to be endangered. Another nice thing about it is that they don't have to drive with their headlights on. These convoys can drive at night without any lights on them and go be less visible to those who are trying to attack them. That type of innovation will help reduce down the number of soldiers we employ. And I think that if you were to word it as a challenge, that if you can automate a position in the U.S. military, that is then done. And I think the Democrats would want that to be not just combat or in combat zones, but all positions in the military. And as Libertarians, with us wanting to reduce down the size of government, we should be behind this and backing of this. It is a great way for us to reduce down the size of government. We're using the Democrats' desire to win re-elections to our advantage. Enemy of my enemy is my friend strategy. Now, if you like this idea, post this video to your Facebook page and tweet it on out. Let's get a discussion going about it. If this is your first time watching one of my videos, well, one, thank you for the view, and please subscribe. At the end of my videos, I have a 20-second end screen. My picture, my face will be in a circle. If you click on it, you can then subscribe to my channel. Also, I have a mailing list, and when that mailing list gets to 100 subscribers, I'll start producing weekly unlisted videos where I reply to comments posted to last week's batch of public videos. If you'd like to see these future reply to comment videos when I start releasing them, in the description below is the link to the mailing list sign-up form. Please subscribe. All right, I think this is a great idea for the Libertarian Party to reach out to the Democratic Party to both work on to try and make it happen. I think it'd be very hard for Republicans to oppose this idea because it is trying to save soldiers' lives. Although some Republicans will naturally view it as, well, you're taking away Republican votes. But I think it's something that would be very hard for Republicans to truly oppose, at least publicly. And this gives another example for us Libertarians, showing that we're just not a wing of the Republican Party, that we can work with Democrats as well as we can work with Democrats as well as we can work with Republicans, and that helps us be viewed more as more of an independent third political party, as opposed to just this is where disinfected Republicans go. Anyways, I like the idea. I like eliminating out mundane, boring, brain-dead jobs, and this would do that. And then in the private sector, we could also benefit from these innovations done in the military. We could benefit from this in the civilian side by merely copying what they do there. Anyways, that's it for today. Bye.